Welcome back to the channel. My name is a-bomb. We are back with Football Manager 2021 and a hammer time with West Ham United. And today is going to be about having a good look at the squad that we have with the Hammers. We're going to see who we might potentially sell. Maybe look at some targets and some positions that need improving. And we will get a match in today. We're going to use the inter-squad friendly, to have our first look at the match engine. That's the rundown for today. Hopefully there will be a recruitment meeting in here as well, because that is brand new for FM21. So I would like to get one of those on camera. Hopefully we'll have one of them soon. So that's the rundown for today. Thank you for the support on the last episode. That was brilliant. Very, very good. We're now just 6 subs away from 800 as we're recording this. So it'd be lovely to get that again during this beta. And yeah, hopefully you're still here for the ride. It's not a bad squad. I think it's a good squad. Looking at like the abilities, you know, you can see who the star players are and the players that we want to build this team around. And then you've got the players a bit down here that, you know, long term aren't going to be part of the build up. They're going to probably make their way out over the next season or two. Lucas Fabianski, he's 35, so he is a bit on the older side, but of course goalkeepers do tend to peak much later than outfield players do. But West Ham's goalkeeper Fabianski, I think, is very, very good. This is his 3rd season with the club, and I think he's been brilliant. Really, really good. Of course, came from Swansea. Great reflexes, handling. So, you know, the goalkeeping attributes are really, really good. Very composed, great concentration, good jumping reach, great positioning. He's going to be our first choice goalkeeper, and he will most likely play every game. I might throw Randolph in for some cup games. I'm not quite sure, but Fabianski, as long as he's fit, will be our main goalkeeper for the Premier League. So yeah, Fabianski is going to be our first choice goalkeeper this season. One thing I should mention is that I'm not going to be adding any graphics until the full game comes out. So face packs, logos, kits, license fixes, I'm not going to be adding any of that until the 24th, until the main game comes out, because this is the beta, and the idea of the beta is to try and look for any bugs and get rid of them before main release. So having graphics and editor data and stuff like that doesn't really help the situation. So we're going to go as vanilla as we can for the beta, and then once the full game comes out, that's when I'm going to add all my graphics, which I usually get from Source It Out SI, and once they're up, then I'll leave all the information for those in the description. The same thing with the squad views as well. I'll get those done eventually, just not right now. Moving on to left back, we have Aaron Cresswell, who has got 3 caps for England. He's 30 years old now. I thought he was younger than that for some reason, but Cresswell, a little bit of a late bloomer. He's been at West Ham for quite a while actually, but 30 years old now. He's still producing good stats for West Ham in terms of assists and creating chances and stuff. He could definitely get forward. And yeah, again, if we play a 3 at the back, having him as a wing-back or even a complete wing-back may not be a bad idea. He looks good. He's got great attributes as well. Well, good attributes. Very well-rounded. Gets forward whenever possible as well. He can shoot as well, so he can get goals as well, hopefully. Yeah, I think Cresswell may be our starting left-back for now, but over the next season or two, I think he will need replacing. At 30 years old, I don't think we're going to get anything less than 10 million for him unless we sell him like right now, but he's a good player, so I don't really want to sell him. But the centre backs that we do have here, we'll start with Angelo Ogbonna, who is Italian. He's 32, so again a bit on the old side, but looks pretty good. Still got his pace as well, still fairly quick. 14 heading, 14 marking, pretty good. Mentally as well, he's aggressive, great positioning. So I think Ogbonna will be a starting centre-back, but I think, you know, again, a player that over the next season or two, we should probably look to move on at 32. I think, you know, he's coming to not to the end of his career, but the end of his West Ham career, definitely. Fabian Balbuena at 28 will definitely be a starting centre-back this season. He's not been here too long. This is his 3rd season, £4 million from Corinthians. Technically, great heading, great marking, good tackling, good leadership at the back as well, so he can hopefully sort out that defence in terms of set pieces and stuff like that. You know, 28, if we can get like a good 2-3 years out of him, he could be future captain material. We don't know how long Mark Noble's got, so Balbuena could be a player that's going to be here for a lot longer. Physically, he's okay, not as quick as the other ones, but as a defender, you don't really need pace. You're not going to be going forward too often, and I think it'll be a player that will more likely stay back, maybe as a defender on cover rather than the defender or stopper. I think having him on cover might be a good idea there. Issa Diop at 23 is going to be, the unit at the back. I need to change my height to feet and inches. I like it better than centimeters for some reason, because you like seeing a player that's like 6'5" or 6'6" or whatever. But Issa Diop, 16 heading and great jumping reach as well. Not just good for defence, but good for going forward as well, getting on those set pieces and getting some goals hopefully. Very strong, mentally good, 14s, lots of 14s and 15s as well. A determined centre back. £14 million value, signed for £22 million from Toulouse. I think Diop, Balbuena and Ogbonna will be our back three this season, if we do go for a three at the back, which I'm leaning more and more towards. We have a lot of centre-backs, so I think we can make use of them and start three. We have one more, and that is Craig Dawson. He's on loan from Watford. I don't really know why, because I think we've got good centre-backs. I don't think we really needed him. So I don't really know why this has been brought in. Maybe it's to do with the homegrown stuff, having English players, because of course Brexit means, you have to have like English players and, EU players. There's a whole minefield about that. So that might be why that's happened. But yeah, he's on loan from Watford. He's not bad. I just don't think we really needed him. I mean, his jumping reach is 17, heading is 17. He's a player that can get goals. I mean, he's got goals throughout for West Brom in the Premier League, and for Watford he got a couple as well. We've got four very good centre-backs. I think defensively, especially centre-backs especially, I think we're really good. I think we're fine for centre-backs. Moving on to midfield, Declan Rice is going to start as often as he can. 21 years old, 26 million value, come up through the West Ham Academy. He is going to start as often as I can allow him to. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential, tireless defensive midfielder, resolute personality. He's the future of this club, and hopefully he stays at West Ham, because I think Declan Rice is a brilliant young kid. Mark Noble, 33 years old, a player that has been at West Ham since the very start. Another player that's come through the academy and has never left, aside from a couple of loan spells. I think that was, just a couple of loan spells, that's all. A one-club man for the most part. And it's his last year. Do we want to extend that, or do we let him go for free at the end of this? It's been a long career. I can't imagine Noble playing anywhere else. So I kind of feel like I want to extend that contract, because I don't really want him playing anywhere else. It might be that this is his last year when he retires, but he's only 33. So I feel like we can get more out of Mark Noble. He's still at 3.5 stars. He's still a great player. He's not as quick as he used to be. He's always been one of the slowest players, but he's one of the hardest working players in the league. I think West Ham last year, I think their distance covered was like more than any other team. I might have made that stat up, but I know that West Ham statistically were one of the hardest working teams last season in terms of distance covered and stuff like that. Then we've got Pablo Fornals, Spanish, 24 years old. And again, could play as that number 10, but I don't think we're going to be using that in our tactic. I think having him as a central midfielder, still as an advanced playmaker, or maybe as a Mezzala. Fornals, very much a player that we want to build the midfield around. I think he's very, very good. £24 million from Villarreal. And yeah, he looks very, very good. He's a model citizen as well. So, a real team player. And a player that I think West Ham are going to hopefully see for a lot longer. Hopefully it's a player that can stay around and won't get too attracted by money and other stuff, like players like Dimitri Payet, for example, who just wanted a move. He was at West Ham for one season and wanted another move. So yeah, hopefully Fornals isn't going to be like a Payet. Hopefully he's a player that will stay around and help build West Ham to that next level. Then we've got Jared Bowen, 23 years old, and a very bright young player for England as well. I'm sure he'll get some England caps in the future, because Southgate's handing out England caps like free candy at the moment. £40 million from Hull, very recent signing. Was he a loan or something? Because I don't really know what's happened there. But yeah, I know Hull let him go to West Ham, and then the whole season just completely collapsed after that. And they almost got relegated, I think. They got very close. I think they very nearly went down. Bowen was their best player. They let him go and they just completely collapsed. But for West Ham, he's an inverted winger, can play either side. So, again, we've got good cover there, can play either side of the wing. Dribbling is 16, very, very nice. 14 crossing is good. He's got a spirited personality. He's determined, so he wants to get better. And I think he will. He will definitely improve over time. And Jared Bowen, again, going to be a player that I think will start on either side for us. We've got Said Benrahma. He's Algerian. He's on loan from Brentford and will join permanently next year. So I don't really know what went wrong with this, but there was a whole thing about that it wasn't going to go through. Like, I think he failed a medical or something, so he could only sign on loan. I don't really understand what happened. But the bottom line is that Benrahma is here for a season and then he'll join us for good. And again, looks pretty good. 3-star current ability, a little bit of potential. 18 flair's good. Physically, pretty good. Some good technicals in there as well. 15 dribbling, 14 first touch. So I think we've got Benrahma, we've got Bowen. They're good. And then we've got Michail Antonio. Now this one is one that I'm going to struggle with. And this is one that I think I want your help with. Antonio's got 1 year left on his deal. He's been at West Ham since 2015. Before that, he was in the Championship in League One. And I didn't realise how old he was. I thought he was like younger. I thought he was like 26, 27. But no, he's 30. It's his last year. He's still okay. He's still a good player. Technically, you know, heading's good. Long throws are good. He's a strong player. He's a real unit. He can play wing back. He can play winger. Could even play as a forward. He's a player that can do a few different things. His experience as well. I think this might be his last year. I think he's got a year left. And it's a player that I don't really want to let go for free. So we either sell him or we sign him for a new deal. And I don't really know which one to do. Because I think he's a good player. He's not going to get any better than this. And I don't think we're going to sell him for any less than, I say that, 12 million. I'm leaning towards the sell him option, but I'd like your input. So, Antonio, do we sell him or do we sign him on a new deal? Lastly, I think this is the last player, Sebastian Alia, 26-year-old French striker. And the only striker that West Ham seem to have, which is a bit of a concern. £36 million from Eintracht Frankfurt. 7 goals last season. 7. Is he really good enough as a first choice striker for West Ham? His first touch is good. His finishing's okay. He's brave. He's a good team player. He's very good physically. He's strong and he's good in the air. I just don't see it. I don't know what it is, but West Ham have always struggled to get that 20 goal a season striker, even 15 goals. I thought it was going to be Javier Hernandez, but that did not happen under Pellegrini, which was a bit of a failed experiment. But I thought that big striker was going to be Hernandez, and it wasn't, and that was a shame. So I think that the first thing we need to get for West Ham is a striker. We need a striker that can score 15, 20 goals. I'm not sure how we're going to get it, because we start with £10 million transfer budget, some of which is gone because we released David Martin. We can use a bit of that wage budget and put a bit more in, but are we going to get a 20-goal striker for 15 million? I think we're going to struggle. There will be some sales. I think Snodgrass will go. I think Lanzini will go. I think Fredericks will go. We might get, we might get about 30 million for that. That'll give us about 40 to play with. It's possible. I think we need a striker. West Ham need a striker. And if the only one they've got is Haller, if he gets injured, I mean, you've got Antonio, and then that's about it. So the first port of call is a striker, definitely. And then I think after that, I think a right back, and we need a long-term replacement for Mark Noble. We need a long-term replacement for Mark Noble. So I think getting in a young central midfielder would be like the third thing. So I think, the squad's good. Centre-back, I think we're great. We've got 2 goalkeepers. Maybe getting a young goalkeeper in as like a third choice sort of understudy would be a good idea. Not entirely important because we have Fabianski and Randolph. All right, we do have an intra-squad friendly here. So this is our first chance to see the match engine. Now, I haven't really picked a team for this. I don't really know what it's done for me. Of course, the big difference is that all the key information is now along the bottom and the screen is dominated by the match, which is how I think it always should have been. So yeah, all the information is along the bottom here. You got, your starting 11 here. And there's your subs. So the big difference is that conditioning is no longer quantified. Because it's not really something you can quantify, is it? How tired you are. The fact that we now have these heart monitors to judge like conditioning, I think it's a lot better, because, you know, it'll go down, and, you know, how much difference is there really between a player that's 87% conditioning or 90% or match sharpness or whatever? There's not a great deal of difference. And, you know, it's the fact that that drops down into those 80s that makes you want to rotate that player out. But at the end of the day, 4% isn't really that much difference, is it? So I like the fact that it's gone with hearts rather than numbers now, because there are some things you just can't quantify. So lots more information here. We've got the dog out here, which, you know, we'll do these things. Sure, why not? We've got the match stats there. We've got a visualizer here so we can see formations. What else can we put? What is the visualizer? Okay, so that's touches, like West Ham attack. We've got the focus areas and the action zones. We've got latest scores, so it can be useful during Premier League games. We've got the mentality there. We're at balanced. We've got the standard. These are all the instructions, which I don't have any because this is just an intra-squad friendly. Yeah, this is what I'm looking at for a tactic. Something along these lines, like a 3 at the back, where we'd probably put in Balbuena rather than Rice, but this is between our first 11, our second 11. So this isn't going to be our starting 11. But yeah, this is what I'm looking at. And then we could go to this if need be, if we're against maybe a better side, a side like Man City or Liverpool. We can drop those 2 wing backs back. If we really want to go for it, we can do this. So yeah, lots of options. But we're going to watch the match unfold now. We're on key highlights. Cardozo has a go from range there, and it goes for a goal kick. But yeah, you can see there's a lot more sort of natural movement with the players. And again, the game runs much, much quicker. We saw how quickly it saved last episodes. But yeah, we're going to watch this unfold and see what happens. Let's hope for a goal during this friendly. Here's Robert Snodgrass, and it's a clearance by Ryan Fredericks. Cardozo wins the header. Here's Manuel Lanzini and Benrahma. Noble to Yarmolenko, and the shot goes wide. But yeah, the match engine, it looks much better. It looks more crisp. And I think you're going to see, you know, more animations, and it's just going to look a lot more natural. Like Lanzini running with the ball here. It looks like a football match. I look like I'm watching a football match, and it's brilliant. I like it. Will we get a goal is the question. We almost did there. Yarmolenko shot from close range, but was only saved. Okay, half-time backroom advice. Based on the observations from staff and analysts of how the match has played out so far, we have the following recommendations. So we have a map of Fornal's shots. It looks like he's had 0 shots, but he has an expected goals total of 1.17. So according to that, he should have scored by now, because expected goals is the key. It's the hipster stat, isn't it? It's the stat that everyone raves about now. Now we have a half-time team talk, and there it is. The throw water bottle, which is, you know, it's the aggressive one, isn't it? We're not going to do it, but I promise you, sometime this season, we will be throwing a water bottle. We are going to go for a hands together. I want a lot more from everyone in the second half. Friendly or not, there's no excuse for not working hard. That's a good team talk. People are motivated. Dawson's anxious. I don't care. Let's jump into the second half. Free kick for the home team. It's back Bowen. And it's towards the goal, and it goes in the net, but it's been disallowed. An own goal, but yeah, it's offside. And the goal alerts look different as well. You know, you used to have goal flashing along the bottom, but yeah, the goal alerts look better as well. There was a good chance there for the home team. Here's Masuaku to Fornals. And Antonio to Haller. This has to be a goal, and it is. Sebastian Alia with the goal on 61 minutes. And I said the goal alerts look better. And it looks like a football match. It looks like a real life football match, because you've got it's in the middle rather than along the top. It looks like a football match, and I love it. Do you know what? We haven't done a shout yet. Let's do a shout. Let's fire them up. And let's see if we can get a second goal as the Blues come forward. It's Benrahma. And as I said, they don't really have a striker. That's a block by Ogbonna. And it's eventually held on to by Lucas Fabianski. Oh, there's a penalty. I think there might have just been a foul by, I think it was Masuaku. Mark Noble on the spot here. Converts the penalty as Fabianski goes the wrong way. It's 1-1. That was a very quick transition from a foul, which we didn't really see, to a penalty, but it's a friendly. I guess during a league match that might be a bit different because this is only a friendly. That's full time. It's 2 apiece in the end. And yeah, that was a good way to see the match engine. It was a good match actually. 19 shots to 15, 8 to 9 on target. Expected goals, not too much difference. So I think, you know, a draw is a good result. Possession was level. Antonio had that goal disallowed, of course. And the XG match story says we only put out an okay performance according to XG, as our total XG was very similar to our oppositions. Alia with 2 goals, so that was good. Noble and Lanzini scoring for the second 11. The penalty, you know, the transition from the foul to the penalty was too quick, but I'm sure during the league that'll be a lot better. Hands together, I'm not concerned about the result today. That's motivated and that's good. Unless we see this recruitment meeting before this friendly, then I think that will do for today. And we'll see when this recruitment meeting comes along. Okay, so before this recruitment meeting, we've got a few players that have a year left on their deal. Fabianski, but I think he's an important player, so we're going to keep him on. Noble, I can't imagine him going anywhere else. We're going to keep him on. Antonio is the one that we're not too sure about. Now, he does fulfill the registration rules because he's English, but if we let him go, I think hopefully we can still adhere to those registration rules. Snodgrass is going to go. These guys, Alessi might keep on, but yeah, these guys, all the youth players, will work our way through them. So our first recruitment meeting then. In preparation for the upcoming transfer window, we've arranged a recruitment meeting to determine our strategy. So this will remind us of our club vision. It will give us our transfer budget and work out where we need to improve. So let's attend the meeting then. David Sullivan, I've called this meeting as we're about to start a transfer window and I want us to align on our aims for the market. So this is our club vision for our transfer policy. Sign players under 22 for the future. Do not sign players over 30 and sign high reputation players, all while working within the wage budget. So our transfer budget was at 10 million. Of course, we released Martin, so that's gone down a bit. The wage budget, I think, is pretty good. Okay, so their first port of call was a right winger, Antonio. Yeah, I know he's going to go. So yeah, we will need to replace him at some point if we let him go, but we could decide to keep him on. We'll wait and see what we decide about that. Bowen midfielder, yeah, long-term replacement for Mark Noble. They're right about that. And a right back, I think they're right about that. But we have one striker. How can they not see that we need something up front? All right. Right back is definitely something that I think we need. So let's have a look at the reports for right back. We've got Kiko Femenia and Javan Anderson from Lazio. See, this is a player that I would look to. Someone like Anderson. He's wanted a loan from Burnley. He's transfer listed for very little money actually, 9.25. See, this is a player that we could look at. Javan Anderson could be really good actually. He can play on the left as well. So Javan Anderson could be a great option actually. Let's try and remember this guy because he's very cheap and he looks okay. Okay, that was our first recruitment meeting. I like it. I like the idea of it. You know, it helps you decide which positions you need to improve. I think they were wrong because we clearly need a striker, but that's our first recruitment meeting. And you know what? It gives you some possible targets. We'll definitely try and remember that Lazio player if we do need that right wing back, but I don't know how they can't see that we need a striker when the youth ones we got aren't particularly good. Okay, I think that's enough for today. We are over an hour into this recording. I don't know how I'm going to cut this video down to 20 minutes. I don't think I can. I think this might be a marathon video. I think this might be a long one. If so, I'm sorry. We had a good look at our squad. We've got a match in there. And we had our first recruitment meeting. That's what I wanted to get done today, and we've done that. And I know it took over an hour of recording, but I'll try and cut this down as best I can, and we'll see how it ends up. Hopefully it'll be okay. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop a like down below, leave comments if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, then do subscribe and turn on notifications. Help me get to that 800 subscribers. By the next time we see each other, there will be some new players here. I can promise that. The next episode as well, we will have our very first league match. I'm going to plough through pre-season off camera, and our first Premier League match of the season is at home against Man City. That's a difficult one to start off with at London Stadium. But yeah, we're going to start things off against Man City next episode for our first league game. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.